it's Erica, and today I am going to be decorating some of the pages in my planner and my journal. So this is like a little 2-in-1 video for you. If you're new here, my name is Erica. I basically make very casual, chatty, keeping you company type videos. We're all stationery lovers here. We love planning, we love journaling, and you can just pop me on in the background, just background noise basically, or you can like be here for inspiration and whatnot. We talk about all kinds of things, usually pretty mundane, and then occasionally we touch on some topics like mental health and philosophy and stuff like that. Basically today I'm looking ahead into October. Just wrote this little blurb about like what I'm looking forward to. Lots and lots of fall activities. October, one of my favorite months of the year because the weather is just so perfect, and I'm doing a lot of apple picking, pumpkin patch fall activities with my kids. The whole family just loves it. I never really did any of that stuff when I was a young kid with my family, so I just am kind of like experiencing this for the first time alongside my kids. It's very, very healing. Yeah, so we love Halloween as well. Trick-or-treating is big, and I think this year both my kids are at that age where they can remember stuff, so like we are at the peak of making core memories. It's super exciting. The weather is just so perfect where I am right now. I am in the northeast part of the United States. Have you ever heard of Delaware? That is where I am, and it's just perfect, like fall vibes everywhere. There's so many cornfields where I live. I grew up in the city, so from 0 to 18, I grew up in Philadelphia. It's like so chaotic, so much city stuff going on. And then after I moved out at 18, like right away, I lived in Pittsburgh for 10 years, which is a smaller city, but it's still city. Once I moved to Delaware, which I call it country, but I guess it's kind of like suburban mostly, I just felt so much more peaceful. Because I don't know, I guess I've just been a country mouse at heart. I'm like totally not a city mouse. I just love where I am. I've wandered too far from the point. I actually have a little outline here. It's, usually really casual, very unscripted, but oh yeah, so my planner pages, right. I'm pre-decorating my planner pages. These are the pages I typed up on my laptop. I mentioned that in my last video. I have a more in-depth video on that, on like what is going on in my binder. Some people, not very many people, just like 3 people have asked me about making these templates available, and I've given it a little think, and I think I'm gonna make them available for 2024. I just typed them up. I made a table, with 4 columns and however many rows, and then I just typed the number in the corner. So I just thought it was like very basic, but I didn't realize that a few people might want it. So I'm going to make them available for January through December of 2024. I don't think I can open up my shop in time for it to make sense for me to have the last few months of 2023. So I'm just going to start fresh 2024, and I don't even know when the shop is going to be open because things keep getting pushed back anyway. So if I just have that far off deadline, that will not stress me out as much. I wanted to work on my shop update the first 2 days of this week, but my dog got sprayed in the face with skunk. How do I even say that? My dog got sprayed in the face by a skunk. That's what I was trying to say. And like I said before, I grew up in the city, so I'd never really came across such wildlife before. It was a new experience for me and my husband. We were shocked. I had to spend basically 2 days deep cleaning everything, shampooing the carpet, couch, like giving my poor dog Captain a bath so many times. He's a little bit traumatized right now, a lot traumatized. And so that pushed everything back. It was like an emergency that happened in life. So of course things just had to move around, and I had to put my shop update on pause. Life happens, but it was crazy. Yeah. How was your week? This is the 3rd video in 3 weeks that I've done. I'm very proud of myself for that kind of consistency. I love when other YouTubers are consistent like that because You know, I love routine. I love having other people playing in the background while I make my journals. I actually have a video on while I'm decorating my October pages right now on my laptop in the corner there. So like, I want to be that person for you. And yeah, 3 out of 3 weeks, like, pretty cool. And I hope I can keep that up. And then for this next part here, I'm just gonna write down a few things that I know are happening in October. It's just a few things such as like when to take out the trash and recycling, and one more thing, I forget what, like a birthday. But I don't really write too much at the beginning of the month because I want to make sure things are for sure happening before I write it down in ink. I do use pencil for things I'm not sure about. And as the month progresses, I will fill out my monthly calendar a little bit more. Just like you might have seen in September. That one was pretty filled out, in my opinion. Lots of fun things happening in October, but also a lot of work goals that I want to reach. I really want to have my shop up and running in October. And I also want to keep up with the consistent YouTube creation and posting and, you know, social media and stuff like that. And I just want to, you know, meet some work goals that I have for this year. I'm going to put back my pages into my binder, and then for the next part of the video, I'm going to be decorating some of the pages in my journal. This right here is my daily journal. I am trying to write in it every single day. I started it in September, like September 1st, and so far I have been going strong for 20 days. So I'm very proud of myself for that. Even if I'm super tired and I can only write a little bit, I've been writing every single day. It is the Sterling ink notebook. It's an A6 size. It has a black cover. I don't really show it in this video, but if you look on the website, it's a black cover with a gold edging. It's super pretty. And the paper is Tomoe River paper. It has a really small grid, which is perfect for my handwriting, which is pretty small in my opinion. So I am really loving this journal so far, and I'm really hoping to write in it consistently, probably for the next year, because I only write half a page to a page, and there's a lot of pages. If I do keep it up every single day, I will need another one before 2024 is over, but I think this is it for me. This is like my holy grail daily journal, blank notebook. I love it. Everything about it is like perfect for me. So yeah, that is the Sterling ink A6 notebook. They have a thicker one. I believe she makes one that is like super chunky, and then one that I got the thinner one because I just write so small and I don't write that much every day, that I just thought it would be less overwhelming for me to have the thinner one. So I'm just pre-decorating a few spreads here, that way I can write in them at my leisure. It'll probably last me for about 6 days or so. I'm just doing 3 spreads, and yeah, that's pretty much all I write. I don't follow a prompt or anything, but I think the format for my journals are basically, I start out with writing down how I'm feeling and then why I might be feeling that way. It could be the events of what happened that day. It could be like current stressors or current things that are making me happy, or what I'm grateful for in my present day life. Or it could be things that I'm still carrying from the past. And so this journal is pretty much like me releasing all the things that I'm carrying in my emotions, and that way I can put it down on paper and then go about my day. So it's super important to me. I write both in the morning and the night, either one, whenever I have time or whenever I feel the need to. But I do make sure that I try to write every day, because I found that if I don't express what's going on with my emotions, it usually comes back to bite me in the butt. I do want to say that journaling is just one of many ways that I use to express my emotions nowadays. I think I used to rely too heavily on just journaling, and the trap that I fell into was I was writing down how I was feeling, but I wasn't actually feeling the feelings. I was intellectualizing about the reasons why I might be feeling a certain way, and it kind of almost like dampened the emotions in a way. So I've started to incorporate techniques for actually letting the emotions pass through me, doing deep breathing, having a good cry, letting out my rage in healthy and non-aggressive ways. So like not hurting anybody, but going to the gym and punching a punching bag. My husband actually bought a punching bag for me off Facebook Marketplace from a local person. So I have a punching bag at home just in case I can't make it to the gym. I have all this rage that I never felt like I was allowed to express. And now I have these ways that I can release them. And not only is it cathartic, but it actually has other added benefits as well, such as becoming more physically healthy in addition to mentally healthy. So these are all different ways that I personally release and express emotions, but it could be something different for everybody. I just think the most important thing is to not suppress your emotions, and also not to let those emotions become harmful to yourself and others, if that makes sense. And once I really started to let that sink in, I just discovered so much about myself and my past behaviors. I discovered how to help my kids through their emotions and having emotional intelligence. They're all new to it. And I also realized that there's so many people out here walking around just not knowing how to express their emotions in healthy and appropriate ways. And some people are never going to learn that ever because they don't have the tools or the resources or the community that helps them learn that. And it wasn't until I developed that awareness that I finally understand the phrase that it's not personal, it's just what other people are going through. It's never about you, it's all them. And it wasn't until I was able to see that through a trauma-informed lens did I realize the true meaning of it. What a helpful thing to know and truly understand. Like, I'm 32 and I'm just finding this stuff out. Like, how cool is it if there's a young children who know this, right? That would do so much for their self-esteem and for the safety of their inner world, because I never truly felt safe in my inner world until I was able to have that emotional intelligence. And for me, I think it's kind of late at 32, but then again, I always hear about how some people will never go through that, or they go through that much later in life. And so better late than never, I always say. I don't know where this is going. I feel like I had a plan to just talk about my journal and like decorating things, but we went into this whole conversation about like unpacking your baggage and stuff like that. As usual, that's just what I like to talk about. I mentioned in another video that I also journal about parts work and internal family systems. And before I talk about that, I want to actually reread the book. So I read it once through very quickly just to get to know the topic, but I want to become more knowledgeable about it before I actually make a video and present that information about it. And I just feel like that would be more responsible, and I want to do more processing as well with my parts and with the emotions that come with those parts. So I think that topic is so huge that it warrants its own video anyway. So I just wanted to put that out there, that I do parts work in my journals, binders, and things like that in my commonplace book. But for the rest of this video, I'll mention like other technical aspects of my journaling. I do color coding for each type of entry. I have 3 colors: yellow for happy things, blue for sad, and then red for angry. Yellow encompasses all kinds of things like joy, gratitude, contentment, looking forward, hope for the future, things like that. And I associate yellow with happiness, just like kind of similar to the emotions in Inside Out, the Pixar movie. And then for sadness, I basically anything that's like sorrow, grief, anxiety, worry, grief for the past or for my younger self, that's blue. And then for red, anything that's like irritation, rage, anger at people who've harmed me in the past, like rage at current events in the world. Like I'm very affected by, and aware of things that are going on in the world. I have this thing called justice sensitivity, so that really gets to me. And I actually don't use red a lot in my journal because, like I said, I release rage in other ways, and I feel like when I'm angry, I don't want to sit down and write really slowly. Like my handwriting is so tiny and neat that it really makes me have to focus, and by the time I'm done writing, I feel like I'm not angry anymore. I'm just calm. So in a way, that's kind of good, but I felt like in doing so, I wasn't actually feeling the anger. It was just getting pushed down and suppressed in order to be mindful. And I feel like actually letting myself feel the emotion was way more helpful. So I stopped really writing when I'm angry and started doing other things, such as hitting a punching bag or listening to angry music and screaming and things like that. So much more cathartic and effective. Anyways, the brown ink is just for the rest of the entry because I don't really want to write the whole thing out in yellow, blue, or red. So I just do the first sentence, that almost like a thesis statement, But yeah, in this entry, I'm using yellow because number one, I don't really want to write like my trauma on video. I just want to do like the happy entry. This was just a entry about how grateful I was for the little things. I got to walk my kids to school that on a really beautiful morning, and the kids had a great drop off. It was the first day of soccer for my oldest, and so it was just like really, really joyful, and that's why I used yellow. I used to only write the happy things in my journal and take pictures of that and share that. You always hear about how effective gratitude journaling is for mental health, and having a gratitude mindset is so vital. I definitely agree with that, but at least in my personal experience, I thought that if you were sad or if you were angry, that meant you were ungrateful. And that is just not true. And I had to find out why I thought that was true. And I think I'll save that deeper reason for another video, but I just realize now, if you only do gratitude journaling and you only focus on the positive, that is actually not addressing the root cause of why you might be feeling sad, angry, depressed, or any other plethora of mental health problems. Coming to the end of the video, I feel like I have definitely talked a lot about certain topics that I could keep going on and on for, but I think that's quite enough for today. Until next time, let's review what we've done together. I've basically just decorated some pages in my planner for October. Super excited about that. Very minimal decoration in all my pages because I want to keep it simple nowadays. And I just like how my decoration kind of matches between my planner and my journal. Super pleasing to me. I'm using the same elements over and over, but that's all right. I'm not too worried about getting tired of it. I'm not tired of it quite yet. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful autumn. Definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know I've touched on a lot of different things in this video, and thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.